يوم ينفخ في الصور فتأتون أفواجا وفتحت السماء فكانت أبوابا وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا إن جهنم كانت مرصادا للطاغين مآبا لبثين فيها أحقابا لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا إلا حميما وغساقا جزاء وفاقا إنهم كانوا لا يرجون حسابا وكذبوا بآياتنا كذابا وكل شيء إن أحصيناه كتابا فذوقوا فلن نزيدكم إلا عذابا إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا. الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين بعثه الله شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه والسراج منيرا. My beloved brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah ta'ala, today we want to speak a little bit about معالجة القلب وترقيقه, treating the heart and softening it. My beloved brothers and sisters, whether it may be from Kenya, whether it may be from the UK, or anywhere else in these Western countries, when we receive these messages on Instagram, on Twitter, or by email, there is a common theme that we keep on seeing. This common theme is that which relates to al-faragh al-ruhi, being spiritually dead and empty. I know, and you know, my beloved brothers and sisters, that this is something that many of us, we suffer from. Being empty, not realizing exactly what is causing our emptiness and what is causing us to have this hardened heart. So what do? We look for different ways now to fill that void. Whether it is that we spend all day long on social media. Let's be honest, my brothers and my sisters. What kind of life is this? That one, from the moment he wakes up, all the way till he goes to sleep, he's either watching movies on Netflix or he's on TikTok or Instagram. He gets bored of Instagram, he goes on to TikTok. He gets bored of TikTok, then he opens up Facebook, right? He gets bored of Facebook, then he goes to Twitter. وَهَكَذَا يَمْضِي يَوْمُهُ. And this is how you see the day passing. You know there is a problem. However, we are in denial. We look for different ways to distract our minds. Right? Am I lying, my brothers and my sisters? That which I'm saying isn't a reality. Have I come to Mombasa talking about a topic that is completely out of touch with your reality? Of course not. Right? Sometimes a lot of us here in Kenya, we look at the people in the West, the colonizers. We look at them and we think to ourselves, right, that we are missing out. We feel sorry for ourselves, right? When we go onto Instagram and we see all of these videos of these British and Americans, we feel like, oh, I wish I had that. Wallahi al-azim, my brothers and my sisters, you are missing out on nothing. You are absolutely missing out on nothing. Ihmad Rabbak. Thank your Lord that Allah Azza wa Jal, right, has kept you away from that wasakh, that khashin over there. Some people are dreaming of going there, and the ones over there, they're dreaming about moving to Mombasa. I'm one of them. Right? Our Mashayikh, Sheikh Yasin, where is he? He's telling me this dream about moving to Mombasa. I came to Nairobi, I was like, MashaAllah. It looks like a good hijrah option. I've been here, I think, now for 4 hours. Right? This is getting recorded, huh? I don't want anyone in Nairobi to hear it. Ashahid min al-kalam. Right? Wallahi antum fi ni'mah. You guys, right, are swimming in blessings that you might not appreciate. Wallahi al-azim. Right? Before I start this lecture, my brothers and my sisters, and I go through points in how to soften up the heart, because our hearts have become so hard. Right? فَقَسَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ. Our hearts have become so hard. You know this, or you might be lying to yourself. You are in denial. When this is the reality, you do not want to accept that there is a problem. And the first stop to finding, right, the solution to the problem is to accept that there's a problem. Right? We just came from a rehab. Wallahi al-azim, brothers and sisters, it broke my heart, it really did. I told them that this rehabilitation that we came to, it's honestly my favorite place. There was only, maybe 40 people sitting there. We've gone to a lot of masajid where there were thousands of people attending. I told them that was my favorite place. And that is because they're sitting there knowing that there's a problem, and they are looking at you in the eyes saying, help us. To realize that there's a problem, my brothers and my sisters, that is the first step, right, to finding a solution, to exit from this denial that we are in, right? Just to give you guys an idea of what some of the shabab are going through over there. If you think I'm lying, my brothers and my sisters, then hear what I'm about to read out. These are messages that I receive on Instagram and by email. Real life examples. I took a screenshot and I saved it. So I can enlighten you guys, because it's the same reoccurring problem. Here, brother messaged on Instagram and he said, Assalamu alaikum. You probably won't even read this. We just read it. I can't imagine the amount of DMs you get from people. Look what he says. I feel extremely depressed when I wake up in the morning. We don't want to get out of bed because of what we done last night and what we were looking at. It's hard. When I wake up in the morning, and it's a regular thing now, he says, I feel empty, akhi. I think all of my sins have killed my soul. I do not know what to do. That is one message. Another message, my brothers and my sisters. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Sorry to bother you today. Today you came into the burger shop. I was with the family. We went to eat somewhere. So I walked in and he says to me here, I was the one that served you. I had a lot of questions, but I didn't want to disturb you as I knew it was your family time. So I did not want to say anything. However, he says, I have been going through a lot of trials and tribulations, which is making this very hard for me. And even at a time, I've been rethinking my life. I just wanted to know if you are able to give me any guidance. Because the life I'm living right now is filled with a lot of sins. And at nights especially, for Fajr, I sit and pray and I just cry for Allah's help. But I've just been struggling in life. I'll read this one last one, inshallah ta'ala. Hi, my name is, and then she mentions her name. I'm 16 years old. I'm going through a lot of pain, depression, stress, sadness. I truly need your help. Please help me. I have been in a haram relationship. I fell in love hard and then he dumped me. He left me, but I still love him. I cry every night knowing nothing will work out. I pray I want to have a relationship with Allah. I want to be better, but shaitan is not letting me. Something always happens when I try to be a good person. I watch your videos. Most of the time, I truly need your help. Help me, make dua for me. I'm still young. Right? One more, guys. This email I received, it says 22-year-old male. And then at the top it says zina. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Please, can you help me? I have done zina for almost a year now with many, many girls. I am completely broken, empty, and I don't want to live anymore. My family doesn't know what I've done, only my mother. Everyone who looks at me says that I look lifeless. When they look at him, he says, everyone can see that I look lifeless. I have lost my appetite for food. I have lost the will to go on. I really need some advice. Please help. You know, a lot of the times, my brothers and my sisters, when the Sheikh says, don't do this, Islam says this, Islam says that this haram, Allah is telling you, don't do this. A lot of the time we think that Islam, you know, is very difficult. It's making hard our lives, right? We begin to think that there is a problem with this religion that is holding us back from enjoying ourselves. Sah? This is how some people think. Whether it is a command, يعني أمر من الله, or nahyun, or prohibition from Allah. Remember, my brothers and my sisters, it is in your own best interest, whether you see it or not. Otherwise, my brothers and my sisters, you may join this long queue of brothers and sisters who are suffering from the exact same problem, and that is a hardened heart. Right? And nothing, my brothers and my sisters, will be able to fulfill or give you that contentment in your heart, right, from the matters of this world. Forget it. I speak to a lot of millionaires. You know, once upon a time, you know the blue tick on Instagram? Now you can buy it, right? Everyone has a blue tick. But I would get a lot of messages from people with these blue ticks. Rappers, footballers, and they would reach out. Salaam alaikum, alaikum salam. A couple of back and forth, a couple of messages to and fro, and then he's sending me the yellow emoji. You guys know the yellow emoji? That cries. You know, on WhatsApp you send the yellow emoticon, right? That is crying. He's sending me the yellow emoji. Please, brother, help. I would first think to myself, what does he want? What does he need? You go onto his Instagram, he has all the money you can think of. cars. He's flashing everything. But then he messages me with the yellow emoji with the tears. Please, brother, help me. He doesn't want from me money. He doesn't want a shout out. He doesn't want any of this. He just needs help in how to deal with this emptiness inside of his heart. Right? Earlier I was telling the brothers in the, what's it called again, the place, Sheikh? The rehab center, the rehabilitation center in Mewa. All of these different industries, sports industry, entertainment industry. You guys know, right? Entertainment industry. Hollywood, Bollywood, Somaliwood, right? Netflix, all of this stuff, entertainment. Games, even games. Children, they sit all day long. They are hypnotized. Mu'takif. All day long he's playing the game. Or watching football after football after football. Right? Likewise, when you look at the drugs industry, the drugs. In the UK, they call cocaine Britain's open secret. Did you guys know that? Who do you think is taking it? People with money, millionaires are taking it. Right? They are all looking for something, and that is contentment, fulfillment. Right? All of them are crying out for this. You can add the YouTubers to that as well. All of them. I have the videos on my phone. All of these guys, Logan Paul, KSI, and I send it to my little brother. I send it to him and I say, look. He says, wow, subhanAllah, I didn't know they had double lives. Millions and millions and millions of views. Just yesterday, I don't know if someone sent it to me or I saw it. You guys know Mr. Beast, right? Mr. Beast. He released a video. Within 23 hours, I think he got something like 45 million views. They say this broke the record. It broke the record for the most viewed video in 24 hours. And even then, my brothers and my sisters, he talks about how sometimes he feels sad. And him giving out money, because this is what he does, right? He gives out money, صح? And that's why a lot of people like to watch him. He gives things out. It makes him feel better. Na'am, sadaqah, giving things out and helping, as we're going to inshallah ta'ala come to it, is one of those things that does make you feel better. But is that going to treat the underlying problem that he has? It's not. Right? Are you brothers and sisters with me? Right? When you are sick, you can take Panadol as much as you want. Is it going to deal with the issue that is deeply rooted? No, it's not. You need an operation. I had a problem for years. And they kept on giving me tablets every year. Every Ramadan they would give me tablets. Till one day, I got the exact same pain and I was in Egypt and my appendix exploded. That's when I needed the operation. I had the operation, alhamdulillah, I don't get that anymore. Point being, you have an underlying problem, you cannot make a quick fix. Right? You may ask me the question, لماذا? Why do I need to soften up my heart? ليش? I'll tell you guys something that Ibn Taymiyah rahmatullahi alayhi mentions. He says, فإن القلب إذا كان رقيقا لينا كان قبوله للعلم سهلا يسيرا ورسخ العلم فيه وثبت وأثر. If the heart is soft and it is tender, right? The ilm, knowledge, it will find it very easy to enter. It will impact it, it will affect it, and it will settle in that kind of heart. Only when it is what? Soft and tender. Are you guys with me? And then he says, فَإِنَّ الْقَلْبَ إِذَا كَانَ قَاسِيًا غَلِيظًا كَانَ قَبُولُهُ لِلْعِلْمِ صَعْبًا عَسِيرًا. If the heart is rigid, it is hard, it has become blackened, knowledge will find its way right, difficult into this heart. It would find it very, very difficult to find a way into this heart. Then you might ask me why. I don't want to become student of knowledge, I just want to live my life. A lot of people think that only if you want to become the next big mufti or the next big sheikh who gives khutbah, only then you learn knowledge. Wallahi innak ghaltan. This is a huge error, a big, right, mistake in the how we think. Because a lot of the problems that reaches me, that I have to deal with, wallahi al-azim, the root cause is, the reason why this is happening now is due to a lack of knowledge. I sometimes think to myself, right, if only they had a bit of knowledge, they might, or they probably wouldn't go through this problem. I'll give you guys an example. I delivered a lecture approximately like a year ago. It was called Filthy Fathers, Cheating Husbands, and Free Mixing. Normally when I give a lecture, I would start off by saying, Allah said, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. The lecture will finish like that, what Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. However, a lot of the time, you know what people think to themselves? Oh, look at this guy. He is out of touch with reality. He is disconnected from the real world. We are in 2023 and then this guy is telling us not to free mix. I was like, okay, no problem. What did I do in this lecture? Even though I delivered it before, but this time this lecture reached a lot of people. What did I do here? Do you guys know the website called Islam Q&A? Ma'ruf, صح? There is an article that I found 8-9 years ago on Islam Q&A. And then I saved it somewhere. You know what this article was? It was an article which collected the statements of victims. Victims of what? Victims of free mixing. And I'll tell you guys what happened. A lot of these people, they would send in their first-hand experience of when they were very lenient with the opposite gender and what the consequences were. For example, a lady, and wallahi, this broke my heart when I read it. It broke my heart. This lady, my brothers and my sisters, she said she would invite couples to the house. She would invite couples on a Friday night to the house. Yani husband, wife, husband, wife, husband, wife, all of them to come so they can have innocent chit-chats over shahi. What do they call it here, shahi? They call it shahi or chai? Huh? Invite the people over so we can have chit-chats over chai. You know what this lady wrote? While I was in the kitchen cooking, my husband was cheating on me upstairs with those that I invited to the house. She says, up until this very day, I can't get rid of the images that I still have in my head when I open the door, I can't get rid of them. I can't forget what my husband done. It has psychologically damaged her. Right? When I was going through and reading these statements, I stopped for a moment and I told the people, it's times like this where we begin to appreciate knowledge. Wallahi al-azim, it's times like that when we begin to appreciate knowledge. Why? What do the doctors say? The doctors, what do they say? Prevention is better than? Ahsantum. We have a lot of doctors here. Prevention is better than the cure. Meaning, you'd rather stay healthy instead of looking for the medicine when you become sick. And I think everyone will choose the first option. Because when you get sick, it can be very difficult to deal with. What was the prevention here? To learn about your religion. It could have saved her marriage. It could have saved her mental state. Right? What was the prevention? The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, إِيَّاكُمْ والدخول على النساء. قال أفرأيتم الحمو؟ قال الحمو موت. Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, be careful, be wary of entering into women. Huh? Then the Messenger salawatu rabbi wa salamu alayhi was asked, what about the brother-in-law? You guys know the brother-in-law? He is the closest to the wife of his brother. The closest person. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is saying he is what? Maut. Dimasho. He is death, brothers and sisters. If he's saying that about him, what about anyone else? What about anyone else, my brothers and my sisters? Today you hear, aunties and uncles saying, wa wala shada. Huh? She's just your sister. Go with her upstairs, no problem. Go and watch the movie together, wa wala shada. She's just your sister. Or he's just your brother. Wallahi al-azim, uqsimu bi rabbil kareem. On Facebook, I received a case of this exact situation. They were neighbors, cousins, in and out of the house, in and out in the house. Right? What happened? He ended up committing zina with his cousin. So now, her brother is messaging me saying, what is the solution? We thought about marrying them off, but no. Why? Because he's a drug addict. I don't feel comfortable marrying my sister to a drug addict. So they had to then send her all the way to the Emirates. Right? Because of what was happening in the house, now the two families hate one another. There's problems between them. What was the solution? A bit of knowledge that you needed to act upon. Ilm is not just for the mufti or for the sheikh or for the one who does the khutbah, ya jama'ah. It will save ourselves from a lot of problems, a lot of headache. Prevention is better than the cure. Today, inshallah, we write it on the wall. Huh? It sounds like something you would put on Twitter, huh? Make sure you tag me, huh? Ya ikhwani, we are going to take, inshallah ta'ala, at least maybe what? 5 things that will soften up our heart. And then if the Sheikh wants to say anything, he can say it at the end. Bidnillah. Sheikh Abdul Qadir was from the Mashayikh of Mombasa. If you don't know, get to know. Right? The first point, my brothers and my sisters, and I'm hoping you guys are writing it down. Huh? Unless you are like Imam Bukhari or Imam Abu Hanifa or Imam Shafi'i that memorizes everything, you don't need to write it down. But I don't think anyone is like this. Put your hand up if you like it. Maybe you can help me. Yani. Huh? Nu'man, are you like this? Nu'man, mashallah, is from the UK. First one, my brothers and my sisters. It is always putting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as number one. Putting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as number one in your life. What is it that we have of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? We have His Quran. Right? Which we're going to come on to inshallah ta'ala as an individual point. We have His Quran. In this Quran, it gives us the only source of knowledge of Allah. And that is what? His names and His attributes. Right? I know, my brothers and my sisters, sometimes we find ourselves in a predicament. The shaitan is calling us to do haram through your friends. Your friends are doing the work of the devil. Come is just one night. This is what they say on Eid, right? Just one night, enjoy yourself. And Allah Azza wa Jal is calling out to you, oh you who believe, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. You should take that personally. Do this and don't do that. Wallahi al-azim, my brothers and sisters, in situations like that, when you turn away from what your heart is tempting you to do of haram, and you do what is right, see what Allah Azza wa Jal ends up doing for you. Almost instantly you will feel that softness inside of your heart. قال العلامة ابن القيم رحمة الله عليه من أراد صفاء قلبه فليؤثر الله على شهوته. Whoever wants a pure and soft heart, my brothers and my sisters, right, then let him always put Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as number one. Let him always put Allah Azza wa Jalla as number one. See how you are going to feel, my brothers and my sisters. Even Ibn Taymiyah rahmatullah alayhi said, وَلَيْسَ لِلْقُلُوبِ سُرُورٌ وَلَا لَذَّةٌ تَامَّةٌ إِلَّا فِي مَحَبَّةِ اللَّهِ وَالتَّقَرُّبِ إِلَيْهِ بِمَا يُحِبُّهُ وَلَا تُمْكِنُ مَحَبَّتُهُ إِلَّا بِالْإِعْرَاضِ عن محبوب سواه أو عن كل محبوب سواه. You will not be able to acquire that ultimate happiness, it says, and that sweetness in your heart, except by putting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, the adhan's going off, and you are watching the football game. You are watching إن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين في نار جهنم خالدين فيها أولئك خير البرية وشر البرية؟ شر البرية. What does شر البرية mean? يا جماعة, we read Surah Al-Bayyin all the time, and the kids, they struggle with it. والقراءة, when they come to Surah Al-Bayyinah, they get licked. They mix up the two. What does شر البرية? You will never make a mistake after this. What does kafaru mean? Those who don't disbelieve. What does شر البرية mean? The worst of creation. Allah tells us those who disbelieve, they are what? The worst of creation. No, you're never going to make a mistake after this now. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. What does it mean? Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. And you're continuing watching that football game or that Netflix series or whatever else it might be. You might not say it with your tongue, but you are saying it with your limbs. That this football player is better than Allah. Would you ever say that with your tongue? No, you wouldn't. But now your limbs are showing that. Because you are giving that your time when Allah is calling you, حَيَّ عَلَى الْفَلَاحِ, hasten to what? Success. Even Imam Shafi would say, إِذَا أَرَدْتَ أَن تَعْرِفَ مَقَامَكَ فَانظُرْ فِي مَا أَقَامَكَ. If you really want to know your position in the eyes of Allah, then look at that which made you stand up. Right. And let me also tell you guys something else. There are times when we prioritize our friends, haram, girlfriend, work over Allah, right? It is only a matter of time before you bash heads with one another. It's only a matter of time, or it's good where you are going to what? Fall out with one another. Did everyone get that point? That you will separate. Because this is not a relationship or a friendship that is based on what is pleasing to Allah. Right? Ibn Taymiyah would say, وَاعْلَمْ أَنَّ كُلَّ مَنْ أَحَبَّ شَيْئًا لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ فَلَا بُدَّ أَنْ يَضُرَّهُ مَحْبُوبُهُ. Anything that you give precedence, priority to, other than Allah, right? It is only a matter of time before you are hurt. I'll give you guys an example. I get a lot of sisters, they message me on Instagram and they say, I am heartbroken. He dumped me. And I say, yeah, sister, why were you in this haram relationship? She says, he made me all of these promises. He said he will make me his Khadija. This is what he said to me. He will make me his queen. This is what he said. All of those lies that he told her. And then eventually, after chewing her like a piece of chewing gum, he spat her out. Like many of these guys, my sisters, take this advice. If it doesn't go straight to your father, right, this guy is playing games. He is not serious. The one who really wants you, he's not going to creep through the window. He's going to go straight to your father. even at times when people are working in the workplace, he doesn't want to pray. He goes, I don't want my boss to get upset. It's only a matter of time before the boss, he turns on him. Is everyone understanding my English? I was told to speak very slowly. Huh? Am I speaking slowly? Anyone misunderstanding what I'm saying? Alhamdulillah. Are you brothers and sisters with me? You can't expect to keep haram in your heart and also that which is pleasing to Allah in that same heart. It gets very, very difficult, my brothers and my sisters. Right? I know there are people here that want to memorize the Quran. Sahih? We are trying to memorize the Quran. We want Allah. While at the same time we might be listening to music. Huh? You know Ibn al-Qayyim says, حب الكتاب وحب ألحان الغنى في قلب عبد ليس يجتمعان. The love of music and the love of the Quran are two things that cannot exist at the same time inside of your heart. It can't. You have to choose one. Right? You have to choose one. You want to be a companion of the Quran? Choose that, my friend. Are you brothers and sisters with me? Right? You leave something for the sake of Allah, Allah will give you that which is better. So what was number one, my brothers and my sisters? Putting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first. How can you make that a regular habit? Learn about Allah. This is what the Tawheed is. Knowing the rights of Allah Azza wa Jalla upon you. And the only source of knowledge that we have of Allah is what? His names and His attributes. The more you learn about His names, Al-Kareem for example, that Allah is all generous, you will never ever think about having envy for another. Because you know I just need to go to Allah and He's all generous. Right? I don't need to go and acquire haram. Allah is all generous. He'll give it to me if I go directly to Him. This is just a little bit learning about who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. It will encourage you to wake up in the night. This is all because you know that Allah is Al-Kareem. Allah comes down in the last third of the night. And He says, Man yad'uni. Who wants to call on to me so I can give to him? You know that Allah is generous and you will go after His generosity. Right? Number two, my brothers and my sisters. Number two. From the great things that will really soften up your heart. وَهَذَا أَمْرٌ مُجَرَّبٌ. It doesn't require much of an explanation or for me to spell it out. It is, my brothers and my sisters, being dutiful to your parents. Wallahi al-Azim, my brothers and my sisters, do not expect prosperity in your life if you are an aqqa. If you are someone who is undutiful to their parents. I know you might say to me, Wallahi, my mother, she says this to me, she says that to me, my dad. And how many problems did we give them when we were young? Even if they are bad towards you, Islam says you have rights. Right? And they have rights over you. Right? Are you brothers and sisters with me? Wallahi, sometimes you feel that a door is just not opening for you. Right? That door is not opening for you. Go and ask your mother for a dua. See what happens after that. Right? See what happens after that. I'll tell you guys about a brother that messaged me one time. And he said, there's problems in his business. Everything seems to be going wrong in his life. He's from Birmingham. You guys know what Birmingham is? He messaged me and he says nothing seems to be going right for him in his life. Right. So I said to him, are you someone that's maybe watching haram online? What is it? I'm trying to figure out so I can give him the correct medicine. He says, no, I don't do any of that. Then I asked him, how is your relationship with your parents? A lot of people think that zina is haram. It's bad. Yes, it is bad. And that is the worst possible thing. It's very, very bad. Murder likewise, it is bad. But what about being bad to your parents? Is that something that is all right? Or just a little bit bad? Or more bad? What is it? 3 times in the Quran where Allah Azza wa Jal talked about the rights that He has over you. For example, in Surah Al-An'am, قُلْ تَعَالُوا أَتْلُ مَا حَرَّمَ رَبُّكُمْ عَلَيْكُمْ أَنْ لَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Tawheed and shirk was mentioned, and also what? Parents. In Surah Al-Nisa, وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Again, Tawheed, the rights of Allah, and also parents. Also in Surah Al-Isra, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ لَا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. 3 times. Right. Huh? Sheikh said 4th place. جيب الآية يا شيخ. وبالوالد أحسنت جزاك الله خير. كذلك في سورة البقرة 4 places. The rights of the parents are being mentioned alongside the rights of Allah. Huh? You know what this brother done? I'll tell you guys, right? He learned a sunnah. What was the sunnah? Raising your hands in the salah. How many times can you raise your hands in the salah? Does anyone know? 4 times. حديث عبد الله بن عمر في صحيح البخاري النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يرفع يديه حذو منكبيه إذا افتتح الصلاة وإذا كبر للركوع وإذا رفع رأسه من الركوع وكذلك بعد الشهادة الأول. 4 times it is sunnah. We don't say that the salah is invalid, but it's a sunnah that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned. طيب, he learned the sunnah, right? And then in front of his parents, he started raising his hands. In some communities, my brothers and my sisters, and I know you guys are going to laugh, but this is a reality, right? The moment you start raising your hands in the salah, they think that this is now the first step to you becoming an extremist. Or you now taking a one-way ticket to Syria. Wallahi, some parents think that. They are in need of what? Of being educated. They have a bad image of someone now raising his hands. Are you brothers and sisters with me? So then, as soon as he learned it, he started what? Doing this in front of their face. Mushkila. So they started getting into arguments. When I heard that, I got so angry at him on the phone. I said, put this phone down right now, go to your mother and kiss her on the forehead and your father as well. Yeah, Jama'ah, you know, sometimes parents, they begin to wish that their children never started learning their religion. You know why? Because the moment he starts learning, he starts being very bad to his parents. So they begin to wish that. If you said to your parent, Mom, Father, I came across this hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari. Look, what do you think? You think they will maybe react negatively? I don't think so. Wallahi, 2 weeks later he calls me back. He goes, my business is flourishing. My business, mashallah. And his parents' relationship, Allahumma barik. Right? Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, ثلاث دعوات المستجابات. 3 du'as will always be accepted. One of them is دعوة الوالد على ولده. The dua that the parent makes against the child. And the opposite is also narrated, دعوة الوالد لولده. The dua that the parent makes for the child. Have you guys heard of Abdullah ibn Umar? Who is Abdullah ibn Umar? Huh? The son of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu. One time he was doing tawaf around the Kaaba. He was doing tawaf around the Kaaba. Huh? And then a man who was carrying his mother on his shoulders, right, came to Abdullah ibn Umar. My brothers and my sisters, to take your parents to Umrah is a huge achievement. Not only did he take his parents to Umrah, now he's carrying his mother on his shoulders doing tawaf. Put your hand up if you've been to the Kaaba. Some people have been to the Kaaba. We see in videos, right, on TV, how busy it gets. Especially Hajj period, right? Ramadan gets very busy. It's not easy, my friend. He's carrying his mother. He comes to Abdullah ibn Umar and he says, هل أديت حق أمي? Have I fulfilled the rights of my mother? He said to him, لا. Right? Not even a talqa. Do you guys know what a talqa is? A talqa, my brothers and my sisters, is when a woman now goes into labor. You know when she goes into labor? Right? And then she begins to get these contractions. Ahsant. That's the word I was looking for. Contractions. These contractions, these pains are unbearable. It is unbearable, guys. She might get maybe what? 25 to 30 contractions an hour. It is so painful. You will only see what your mother went through with you when she was giving birth to you when you get married and you see your wife in labor. Wallahi al-azim, when I saw my wife in labor, that's when I began to appreciate my mother even more of what she went through. Wallahi, it was painful to see, brothers and sisters. It was painful. That's what my mother went through. Ibn Umar said to him, not even one, not even one contraction, not one. How many hours might she be in labor? Allah knows best. My wife was in labor for 3 days. We was in Egypt. She wanted a home birth. Right? She was in labor for 3 days. 3 days she didn't sleep, guys. I know that's a little bit out of the norm. 3 days. 3 days. But he said to him, وَلَكِنَّكَ أَحْسَنْتَ. But you've done great. وَاللَّهُ يُجْزِي عَلَى الْقَلِيلِ كَثِيرًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you immensely for something little. He says, what you are doing is something very small, but Allah will give you a lot of reward for it, immense reward. Right? Don't wait for your mother to ask you for money. Stretch out your hands. Right? Surprise them. Make them happy. Them just feeling good about you, wallahi. Even if she doesn't make dua for you, but the fact that she feels so good about her child, see the doors that open. How long do I have, ya Mashayikh? Adhan is at 45. I've got 6 more minutes. Number 3, my brothers and my sisters, mu'amalatu nasi bil lutf. To treat the people kindly. Ibn al-Qayyim, he said, فَلَيْسَ لِلْقَلْبِ أَنْفَعُ مِنْ مُعَامَلَةِ النَّاسِ بِاللُّطْفِ وَحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ لَهُمْ. There's nothing more beneficial on the heart, my brothers and my sisters, than what? Treating the people kindly and loving good for them. Loving good for them. I know there are a lot of businessmen here in Mombasa. May Allah give them more. Right? Sometimes someone may come and ask you, You, mashallah, became a very successful businessman. Give me the ingredients and the steps to become like that. The businessman looks at him and he says, I went through a lot of trouble and you want me to just give it to you just like that? No. Go through the trouble. When you go through all of that trouble, then I'll give you. Just give him the recipe. We memorize the hadith. لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. One is not a true believer until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. It also means this now here. You think that Allah Azza wa Jal is not going to give you more? It could be that Allah opens another business opportunity because you gave this away. But the way we think is, He's going to now take half of my customers. See how you feel, my brothers and my sisters, almost instantly. ومن أسباب شرح الصدر الإحسان إلى الخلق ونفعهم بما يمكن من المال والجاه والنفع بالبدن وأنواع الإحسان فإن الكريم المحسن أشرح الناس صدرا. Ibn al-Qayyim says, the one who is generous, the one who treats the people well, he is the one who is what? Most content, right? وأطيبهم نفسا وأنعمهم قلبا. He has the best and the most content and fulfilled of hearts, right? And the examples are many. I've got another 4 minutes. Number 4, guys. I hope you guys are memorizing it. Number 4. غض البصر. Lowering your gaze. Lowering your gaze. Mujahid rahimahullah ta'ala, who is from the students of Abdullah ibn Abbas, he says, غض البصر عن المحارم أو عن محارم الله يورث حب الله. If you now lower your gaze from the things that are haram, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will end up loving you. And you will acquire the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's not easy, my brothers and my sisters. However, the reward is great. This is one of the root causes of our hearts becoming sick and hard and rigid. Tell me if I'm wrong, guys. What we keep on looking at, especially today with social media. Right. Ibn al-Qayyim also mentions غض البصر عن محارم الله أو عن المحارم يوجب 3 فوائد. It brings about 3 benefits when you lower your gaze from haram. Number 1, حلاوة الإيمان ولذته. You begin to feel the sweetness in your heart. ومن ترك شيئا لله عوضه الله خيرا منه. He says, you leave something for the sake, Allah will give you that which is better. Number 2, نور القلب وصحة الفراسة. Your heart will become illuminated. And Allah will give you something called farasa. Sheikh, is the best way to translate farasa intuition? Can you say that, or do you have a better translation? Intuition. Intuition, my brothers and my sisters, where you begin to see things that others can't. For example, at times, some evil, some fitna is about to come out of the situation. No one notices it. People, a lot of the time, they only realize that something is going wrong when it's happening. Some are able to see it well beforehand. Right? And number 3, my brothers and my sisters, قوة القلب وثباته وشجاعته ويهرب الشيطان منه. Allah will give your heart strength and bravery, and the shaitan will begin to run away from you. One of the best ways to get the shaitan far away from you, my brothers and my sisters, is lowering your gaze. And it is also min al-ibadat al-sirriyah. You know, the mashayikh, the ulama, they talk a lot about having private good deeds that no one knows about. Why? قال ابن القيم ذنوب الخلوات سبب انتكاسات وعبادة الخلوات سبب للثبات. Private sins, you know, under your blanket, it is a big reason why you will go astray and fall off the religion. And also doing what? Righteous deeds that no one knows about, it is a big reason that Allah will keep you firm upon your religion. And one of them is, you know, when you're walking, all of your friends are looking at this direction. You can see a woman walking on that side. You lower your gaze. None of your friends know that you are lowering your gaze. This is a ibadah, an act of worship that is hidden. And Allah will give you that which the mind can't imagine, especially now when things have become so much more difficult. وَالْأُجُورُ عَلَى قَدْرِ الْمَشَقَّةِ. As the Messenger ﷺ said, one is rewarded in accordance to how difficult things get. And I know it's difficult, it's hard, especially in the summer. Last point, my brothers and my sisters. Or have we run out of time? Can I mention the last point? Is that all right? Is that okay, guys? How many are we on? We've done 4, now we give number 5. Number 5, my brothers and my sisters, that which is going to really soften up our hearts is none other than mujalasatu salihin, sitting with the righteous, right? If you are someone who's suffering from doubts, you go to a knowledgeable person, he will remove these doubts and you will feel good. Sah. Ibn al-Qayyim rahmatullahi alayhi says, mujalasatu salihin tuhawwiluka min 6 ila 6. When you sit with the righteous, 6 things happen for you. Number 1, min ash-shakki, you have doubts, you have the uncertainty, right? Wa min al-riya ila al-ikhlas, someone who's showing off, you become sincere because you see the mashayikh being sincere. And another 4 points that he mentioned, but we're running out of time. Point being, my brothers and my sisters, when you sit with people who have doubts, or people of innovation, or people of deviance, it makes your heart hard. But when you sit with people who propagate sunnah, people who propagate Quran, and number 6 is actually reciting and reflecting on the Quran, right? From the things that soften up your heart. Wallahi al-azim, my brothers and my sisters, Allah Azza wa Jal will soften up your heart. This is why the scholars of the past, when they saw someone who was maybe going through hardship in his iman, they would say, go and visit so and so. Just looking at them at times will increase your iman. And that brings me, my brothers and my sisters, to something. We mentioned number 5 here is sitting with the salihin. And we hope that inshallah ta'ala our Sheikh is from them. He is from the mashayikh here that you guys might not know. We don't just attend classes when Abu Taymiyah comes. Lectures are like Panadol. I told you guys, right? Or did I not? Was it maybe somewhere else? Lectures are like Panadol. It gives you what? Painkiller. Your iman goes up and it will just come back down again. We are in need of an operation. The operation is what? Seeking knowledge. It will put you in a much better place spiritually. Your iman will be much different. It will be afloat. Insha'Allah ta'ala, when you are seeking knowledge regularly. We are all in need of continuous lessons. No matter how much money you are making, no matter how much of a businessman you are, men, women, everyone are in need of regularly learning about the deen. Sheikh, do you have weekly classes at the moment? Sheikh said, starting 40 hadith of Imam al-Nawawi in Masjid al-Rahmah this Friday. What time, Sheikh? Between Maghrib and Isha. Masjid al-Rahman. Put your hand up if you're going to go. Inshallah ta'ala, we all go. Huh? Jazakum Allah khairan. Wa barakallahu feekum. Wa ahsan Allah ilaykum. I love you all for the sake of Allah, brothers and sisters. May Allah Azza wa Jal honor every single one of you guys. I ask Allah, if He doesn't reunite us in this dunya, to reunite us in the highest part of Al-Jannah. Say Ameen. Jazakum Allah khair. Subhanak Allah bihamdik. Shadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruk wa atubu ilayk. Inshallah, tomorrow we will be in the Afrah Hall. After Asr, that's something you have to sign up for. And then after Maghrib, we will be in Masjid Kulthum. Huh? I hope to see you all, inshallah ta'ala. It will all be different topics. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.